Alright YouTube, so just now I saw the movie Goldeneye, the 1995 James Bond movie. Loved it, so here's my review. I'll be going into a spoiler-free review. So the movie's turning 30 this year, or turned 30 this year. Alright YouTube, so I saw the movie Goldeneye, the James Bond 1995 movie, and I loved it. So I'm giving you guys a spoiler-free review, and I know the year 1995 is now 30 years old, as a lot of movies that came out in that year are turning 30. Well, not a lot. Any movie that came out in that year is turning 30 this year if it hasn't already. So it's a weird statement of mine, but I know movies like Batman Forever and Toy Story came out this year, which was definitely a interesting set of movies because, they're very nostalgic for me, but I haven't watched Batman Forever in a while. For some reason, I was thinking that the Bram Stoker Dracula movie came out in 95, but then I fact-checked myself and it was 92, so I'm not going to tie that in with this review. So yeah, overall I did look up some other movies that came out in 1995 and definitely looked like a really interesting year for movies, so I'll definitely have to check out some of these movies, and fingers crossed some of them come to theaters for their 30th year anniversary like this movie did. So yeah, let me get into my spoiler free. The movie definitely has an interesting plot twist towards the end, which definitely had me surprised, but I'm not going to say what it was because that would break the spoiler-free trend. I can say I see a lot of inspiration from a lot of other spy movies and, action movies, sort of old school style have come from, because this movie definitely had a lot of references that I recognize from the modern James Bond movies, such as Spectre and No Time to Die, which I liked both those movies, especially No Time to Die when I saw it in theaters almost 4 years exactly, because I really enjoyed, Daniel Craig's James Bond, and I think this James Bond is definitely just as cool based on this. I think the movie has everything a James Bond movie needs, from a killer cast to cool characters, great action, sick gadgets, and I love the Mother Russia winter country. It's super cool in this movie. I love the theme. I think it's has a great soundtrack as well. Overall, no complaints about this movie, so I'll probably give it a 10 out of 10, and makes me want to see more 90s movies and makes me want to watch more James Bond movies and go back and watch and rewatch movies like No Time to Die, which I absolutely love, and I think I did a review of it. I think it was last summer, not summer 25, the summer before, but I'll probably make another vlog about it soon and talk a little bit about James Bond. But I will say I'm hoping we don't get a new James Bond reboot for a while, because I think the franchise is best to let rest for a little bit, in my opinion. But seeing this movie definitely made me have a great time a Friday night, so now I'm going in circles, so let me talk about the movie. It had a lot of great fight scenes, old school style action, not super old school, but it's overall just a really entertaining and fun movie. But something I do remember thinking as I was watching this movie is it kind of reminded me of 2022, The Batman. And what do I mean by that? I mean that although the movie wasn't constant action, constant epicness like John Wick movies, not that that's a bad thing, but it had a great story and really had me compelled without having to go over the top like some other movies do. Not going to say names, but some movies are just so much constant action and constantly fast, and it's sort of hard to keep up with. But this movie definitely proved that a movie doesn't need tons and tons of action to be awesome, just like the Batman. Another reason I bring up the Batman is because I think today was initially going to be the day the Batman Part 2 came out, but a lot of delays, a lot of things happen, and that's fine with me, because hopefully the Batman 2 is just as cool. But now I'm talking about Batman, who kind of is a James Bond is kind of like a mix of Bruce Wayne and Batman, but he's his own character. And I just love the opening sequence of this movie too, with the plane stunts and the iconic James Bond fire guns with the opening theme song. And now I'm going in circles. So overall, let me conclude this vlog by saying this is a great movie, and I can't wait to watch more 90s movies and James Bond movies, which is everything I want from a movie, is to make me want to watch more movies and to inspire me. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned more soon. Goodbye.